Hey, now let's have a look at the reserve grade sudden death playoff on the weekend. This was between Brisbane and Norths, and Brisbane here too good, 14 points to 2.
Through to their first ever final in reserve grade. They made the semis last year. Now, this is a gutsy effort from Brisbane. You've got to consider that, of course, their front row forward in James Donnelly went up in the first grade, and he was the best player, I thought, in first grade. So that speaks wonders for their depth and for their club spirit. It was a backs-to-the-wall win, an excellent victory by the Brisbane Broncos, and I think this stood them in good stead for the first grade to follow. But it was Brisbane early. Now, Craig Teven, who kicked 5 or 6 goals last week in their victory, booted that one over. Early penalty goal to Craig Teven. And in this game, North Sydney, the defending premiers, and they certainly... Now, there's an incident. Scott Gale put down by the big fellow in Andrew Testman. Now, initially, the referee gives the penalty for offside downtown, but now there's Testman, 33. The referee, on the touch judge's report, changes his decision. Now, he can do that for foul play, and the penalty kicked by North Sydney. That's a very rare occurrence to see a referee change his mind, but it is in the rule book, and Testman was lucky on that occasion. He only got penalised. Chip and chase by Craig Teven, who I think has been the most consistent player for Brisbane in these semi-finals. Out to Steve Renouf. He picked up a try last week, got another one this week, and certainly an outstanding young player he is. Here's the conversion. Look at that, right between the uprights by Teven, who has really been a radar boot at the football stadium. Penrith, North Sydney continued to try and remain in the game. They chipped and chased and kicked downfield, and this was an exciting chase, but big Brett Plowman, 17 and a bit stone of him, got their first 4. The Brisbane side put it out the back door. Brisbane continued to attack, and once again, high kick up, ball bouncing beautifully for them, picked up by the reserve, Matthew Ralph, in for the try, converted by Teven, and it was say good night or very good afternoon from the North Sydney Bears to the Winfield Cup reserve grade competition, coached by, of course, Steve Martin last year. They won the comp, but wasn't to be this year. They attacked to the death, and Michael Clark going for the corner, but put down just short of it by strong Brisbane defence, and they did defend very well throughout this game. They didn't concede a try, well coached by Bill Gardner. Grubber kick through, again back in support, Grant Ricks this time, so they've done a good job, Brisbane, to get to the final.
And Brisbane will go on and meet Penrith, 14 points to 2. Those in-goal touch judges have already had their effect, haven't they?
Oh, they certainly have. They made several decisions at the weekend. I think they only concurred with what the referee was going to come up with, but it was good to have a second opinion, and it was certainly justified, I think, at the weekend having them there. If they only adjudicate on one decision in this final series, and it's proved to be correct, then they've done their job.